Hello and welcome to the Legendary Ladies podcast. We are back from our summer hiatus, from our
Woo
summer
woo!
vacation.
Woo woo woo
There's
woo
a
woo!
little nip in the air, a little chill in the air, and like we have
There is
returned.
there's no chill in the air in
No
San
There's a
Diego.
chill.
We are
little chill in
currently at the end of like a tropical storm in Mexico. So in my room right now, it's 80.2 degrees with 63% humidity.
I don't
Air
want any
conditioning is
chill.
still on, but like leaves are falling. The point is
I saw one leaf fall.
a leaf has fallen. Autumn is around the corner. Spooky season is upon us and me. And the legendary ladies have returned. We all had very busy, crazy summers. So while we had every intention of doing some episodes, it became more of a hiatus. But now we are back, and our first episode back, we wanted to talk about the Netflix show, The Hunting Wives, which came out, I think, like a month ago. And it is a very overdramatic, melodramatic show. It Let's see, I had like it premiered on July 21st, so it's been out for a second. So maybe you've all watched it by now. Had 8 episodes. The little tagline I saw is Sophie trades city life for East Texas and falls into a wealthy socialite's magnetic orbit, where a clique of housewives hide deadly secrets. Dun dun dun. It stars
Dun,
Malin
dun,
Ackerman
dun.
and Brittany Snow, and it is crazy. So I think let's just dive into it. We're gonna do a pilot pod, but just for context, both Kat and I have watched the whole season, so we're gonna try not to spoil too much. But we've seen the whole thing. Amy's just seen the pilot. Also, not to brag, but I had actually previously read the book that this is based off of. It was a book of the month pick in April 2021. So I read it kind of a while ago. But when I saw the news that they were making this into a TV show, I was like, sweet, this is going to be soapy and gay, hopefully. And it was both of those things. Check and check. Let's start with Amy, or we can start with Kat. Let's start with Kat. What did you think of the pilot?
The pilot I thought was pretty strong for what you're looking for. I think they teased the gay very well. The soap is there. They definitely have the setup of what this world looks like in conservative Texas type town. I will say, as the show goes on, something I expected from the pilot was to maybe get a little bit more commentary about the conservative town they live in and them being queer. But I think they're mostly there for the soap and mostly there for the twists and turns and the betrayals. And I'll say that is a slight negative from what I expected from the pilot to what I got in the show, was that I think I was expecting a little bit more depth when it came to the characters there. But if you are looking for a little mindless fun, you definitely get that with the show. And the pilot I thought was a little bit more sophisticated than that, but I do like this
hinting. The pilot hinting at that it was going to be dealing with maybe some themes, maybe talking something topical. But actually, I was surprised about that in the pilot, because I will say the book has like no political overtones to it whatsoever. It's just like, these ladies are crazy. Everybody in Texas, like, pew pew. But it doesn't go any deeper than that. So, like, if, for instance, in the show, and this is in the pilot as well, the storyline that Margot's husband wants to make like a run for political office, that is not in the book whatsoever, which is very funny, because it's kind of a big storyline in the show.
Now,
and they added
don't spoil
that.
too much. Don't spoil too much, but was there like open relationship polygamy thing? Is that part of it?
The book? You know what? In the book, not so much. Well, not so much from like the idea that they have this like understanding, this open relationship. It's not like her husband is a non-entity, like a non-character. Like, he exists, but she is she's doing her own thing, right? Like, all the things that Margot is doing in the pilot and in the show, she's basically doing that in the book, or some version of that like maybe not entirely everything, but like some version of that. But it's not like with the understanding that her husband is like chill with it. Personally, this is like, it's been like maybe 4 years or so since I read the book, but like, I don't remember her husband being like a character at all. And if they did have like an understanding, it wasn't like a major part of the book. So that was also something that was new. Like the idea that she doesn't really want him to run for office because they have their like little secrets. That's not really something that was too big and that was like really happening in the book.
And how about Sophie's world? Because I would say that's the thing I was kind of most surprised by. Like in this pilot, which is not what you're going to get from the rest of the show, they introduced this idea that Brittany Snow's character is a different type of girl. She's a little bit more liberal. She doesn't fit in with these people. But by episode 2, that doesn't really play a part.
Oh yeah,
they've given
into that already. Yeah, in the book she is like kind of a fish out of water. She's moving from, I can't remember, it's probably still Cambridge, Massachusetts or whatever. But if my memory serves me, in the book, she like wants to start like a mommy blog or like a influence, like she wants to become like a social media influencer, and she's like trying to blog, which I'm kind of glad that they removed that from this version of the from the TV show, because it's so done, and also it's like nobody cares if your blog takes off. Like nobody wants to watch you be like, I got more followers. Like that's not interesting. I don't care.
And maybe because it was so many years ago, like obviously the internet and like social media has changed so much. So maybe that's why they're like, let's not have that. That's the interesting about Sophie's character. She it's Sophie, right? Not Sophia. I think it's Sophie.
Yeah.
She doesn't have many wants or needs.
She's just sort of floating along, right? She's just sort of along for the ride. Her biggest want and need is she's like, Margot is hot.
That is her need.
We'll say that is similar to the book, where she's kind of more explicitly obsessed with Margot in the book, where she's just like, oh my God, what's Margot doing right now? What's Margot wearing? What's Margot thinking? And you're like, girl, settle.
That's the interesting thing about, and I think they do it in this episode, or maybe it's another episode, but like she stalks her social media and she's very interested in her. Something that is, and it's not a spoiler, but something I'll say about the queerness aspect of the show. There's one scene where you can maybe say that they've like explored these characters and how they label themselves, but also that also doesn't quite feel to be a concern in this show. As we like, I just think Margot's really, really hot in this conservative backdrop of guns blazing. I guess everyone's gay.
It's not everyone's gay. It's everyone's into Margot. There's a difference.
Yeah, sure. We'll see as the show goes on.
Everyone feels pretty gay in this version of Texas, which like God bless them. Yeah, it is funny. There's no interrogation of like whether or not the things that they believe are coherent with everybody being so gay. But I think sure, okay. Yeah, no, I thought that was funny. Yeah, they do kind of, like slight spoiler alert, but they kind of flash back to Sophie's like time in college.
That's the one scene,
where she has like sort of a flirtation with a friend of hers who's like, we are obviously kind of in love with each other. Like, what are you doing? And she's kind of like, no thanks. And then just like apparently hooks up with the first man she sees on the street,
which is her husband,
which later becomes her husband.
Who we have to talk about because I have problems.
He's a weird character.
I had a couple problems with this character. First, the actor reminds me of the guy who plays Toby on Pretty Little Liars.
Yes, his chin.
That I had to look it up, and I was like, "Is Keegan Allen in this? Is it Keegan Allen?" It's not Keegan Allen. Secondly, I thought he was wearing adult braces for about half of this episode. He's not.
Why?
But it bothered me. I was trying to pause while he opened his mouth. I was like, "Are those braces?"
Well, I gotta say that's a 100% Morgan problem. I did not look at this and be like, the braces.
Wait, are we not going to talk about the adult braces? Then I realized it was just in my head.
It's just in your head. Oh my God.
Well, I'll say something about his character that I think is very strange, is that in this episode in particular, he is just a very neutral character for somewhat. Like, obviously, he's not likable, but he's not doing anything completely wrong besides being like, you should make friends, and kind of gets upset when she does.
We have a different take on this character then.
I also don't remember how it ends, because there is something he does do that's a little controlling as the series goes on. But then also in the end, you kind of find out that maybe Sophie's just somewhat of a reckless person too. So maybe the husband has some reasons to say what he says. But also, like, he continues to also not be likable. So that's my kind of problem where as the show goes on. Again, you introduce these really interesting characters where it's like, oh, they all have potential and they have these really intriguing dynamics. And then in the long run, you're like, no, they don't. They're all very surface level. So when you have these bigger conversations, like who's in the right and who's in the wrong, none of it kind of makes sense. Because I will say, and Amy, just to let you know, Sophie is not good. She's not a good girl. She's
no, she is not. I think it's funny because
the felony charges thing.
Yeah, because I kind of
not in that way. I don't care about her felonies. Yeah, right. Go on,
Wait, what?
The husband sucks, but he's not wrong. That's the funny thing. And I would actually say in the book, he is even like more just like he's more annoying and like more a little bit like controlling and kind of like shown in a negative light. In the book, it's just like you kind of start to feel bad for this guy. It's like don't make me feel sympathy for the husband. Like what's happening
husband
in the hunting wives? And that's
this is about the wives. I don't want to feel sympathy for the husband.
Not that I feel bad. And the thing is, Amy, because I know like they obviously showcase that she might have some felonies along the way. That's not even my problem with her. Like, I don't even think that's the issue with her being unlikable in some ways. It's just her acts of wanting Margot so much that sometimes she just doesn't feel like a person.
When I was reading this book, Mike would walk by and be like, "How's your book?" And I'd be like, this girl, the main character in this book is so deeply stupid. I love her.
Oh no, Morgan's froze.
Morgan never freezes. It was usually
me. I'm shocked. Now I want to know. What were you going to say?
Rogan,
Amy?
go lay down. Well, so here's the thing about the husband, okay? He is very controlling right off the bat. I'm noticing all of these controlling overtones. Be sure you come back home now. Then go make friends. Literally doing the like, oh, it's okay, honey. Go make friends. Literally pushing her. And I think what's interesting is that if you guys are saying like, oh, she actually, like maybe he's legitimately got reasons for this, but it's still right off the bat, it irritates me about this character.
He's not likable, that's for sure.
But what's interesting is that if that's really interesting storytelling from a writing, directing, creative point of view. If they want the audience to be on Sophie's side, make the husband unlikable, so that when Sophie starts to do whatever bad thing she does, you're a little bit more willing to forgive her because her husband's a dick. Like, that's really creative storytelling, and I really like that, actually, even though I don't like the husband.
And Morgan, you were going to say about the book, so you're saying that she's stupid in the book.
Oh yeah, I lost internet briefly, but yeah, she was like, so the choices she makes in the book are and I think in the show as well, because a lot of them are the same, are just, you're just looking at her going, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Like, why would you make this choice?
And there's no motivation like half the time. There's always just like, I guess you're kind of, and again, the motivation's always, I guess, like, I like Margot. But even at this point, I don't know. I'll say that it gets even more complicated, Amy, as the show goes on. For like, obviously the drama builds up, but even the Margot of it all, you learn more about her as a character, and you're just like, whoa, it's like there's a lot. There's a lot.
Listen, I don't think Margot is a good person, but she's certainly an interesting character. Whereas Sophie, even though in the book you're in her perspective, sometimes the things that she's doing are so wild. You're just like, girl, what are you doing? I'm not even like, I'm in your head and I'm not following your action.
I think that's so interesting about a book too, that you could be in her head.
You're in her point of view, and you're just screaming, "Don't do that!"
I think what I like about Margot's character is that she's got this real intense magnetism to her.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've all met people like that where you're like, well, I'm so in right now and I'm focused on you. And I'm like, I can't look away, but I'm sure you're bad for me. And I kind of love that as a character. Like, and I love that she uses her sexuality proudly. Like when she dropped her dress, I was like, oh, so I should preface this by saying I have not read the book.
Like, of the
I
show,
didn't watch a
too.
trailer. I had all I knew was that these two ladies said, we're going to watch this show called The Hunting Wives, which, mind you, before I looked it up, I thought was some sort of like reality series about women in the middle of the Catskills or like Appalachian Mountains as like literal hunting. Like that's what I thought. I thought this was a reality show. Right? Doesn't it sound kind of good? Like the Bearmen, but
I follow the Mormon Wives. I watch the Mormon Wives. Bless them.
I
would watch the Hunting Wives.
What are their drinks called again?
Oh, dirty soda. Dirty soda. Yeah.
Okay. That's all I know about the Mormon Wives.
So no idea. Didn't watch the trailer. Had no idea. I knew that within about 5 minutes she dropped an F-bomb, and I was like, okay, so we're in a Netflix show.
And
then all of a sudden a dress, and I was like, hello, because I was watching like in the living room, and I was like, volume down, turn it up. What's going on here?
Yeah,
like all embarrassed.
I was also shocked by that when I was watching, because like the book is, there's like sex scenes, it's sexy, there's like crazy stuff happening, it's not very appropriate. But I don't feel like I watch a lot of Netflix shows where like there's just nudity immediately. So I was like, whoa, what is this? This is like not TV, it's HBO right now. Like what's going on over here?
Especially with the tone of the book, not of the book, of the show, is like it feels something you'll turn on to ABC or CBS or whatever. So it feels like a network show. So it's like kind of weird, be like, oh, I guess this isn't a network show. It feels like in Nashville or something.
I was gonna say, yeah, Nashville, like Friday, not Friday Night Lights. That would no. I was gonna say Desperate Housewives. It has like a Nashville Desperate Housewives, like soapy, kind of knows what it is, isn't pretending to be highbrow. Like it's like this is who I am. And it was surprising. I agree. When you start watching it, it kind of feels like a network show. It feels like a soapy network show. And then all of a sudden people are cursing and there's like, and boobs are out and you're like, whoa, hello.
Really threw me off. I was like, this is going to be a CW show. Like that's what they signed me up for. And it wasn't. Very quickly. It was not. I mean, it is, but it's not. Basically, at one point I was like, this feels to me like someone took all the main characters from Twilight, like the female main characters, and put them through like a chat GPT and said, make them older and drink lots. I don't know why. I think it's just there's one point where they're all around the kitchen and they had such distinctive personalities. I was like, these are like all the Twilight family members. You've got the super ditzy one with the big hair, and you've got the priestly one who's definitely not a priestly girl. You've got the like jealous long-haired, straight hair, red hair lady, and then you've got the charismatic one that everybody loves. Like it's just they all have the distinctive personalities. I was like, someone just pulled these out of a pot.
But then you also have the serious actors from like This Is Us somehow thrown in here.
Yes,
I think she's in this episode, right? Yeah.
Yes.
How does she fit?
That character I don't think was in the book at all. Yeah, they definitely added some characters. I think in the book it was obviously Margot and Sophie, and then Jill, which is the Reverend's wife, and Callie, which was the sheriff's wife. Although I don't think she was the sheriff's wife in the book. And that's it really for like those characters.
How about the cop character?
There was like the teenage characters, and but I don't think we ever really like met the girlfriend's mom at all. So yeah, like just adding her in, they're like, yeah, we got to get the This Is Us lady in there.
And I guess she seems like she's in a whole different show because obviously, again, she's more of a serious actor. So she's like yelling, about whatever's happening in her life. And then like you have these like ditzier characters that are in a soap opera. So that was like I would even say a strange casting just because again, like that actress has such range, it's just like, it's serious, and then you have this like very soapy, not serious show.
Yeah, I think one of the other funny things is when you get, I'm gonna take off from the pilot a little bit. When you get a little further into the show, there's like a whole subplot with like the local police that feels like you're legitimately in a different show every time it switches over to those characters. And they also feel very wacky and broad, but like in a different way than the characters in The Hunting Wives are wacky and broad. And so it's like, just suddenly you're like, wait, who are these people? Why am I caring about this?
And are they in the book? That was like, because they really have a focus on them.
They're not at all. I remember watching the pilot and being like, what? Because they talk about this girl who goes missing in the pilot. And I was like, huh? Like,
that's not the book.
No, that was not in the book at all. They added that for the show. And
that's crazy.
I don't know that, to be honest, like I didn't hate it in the season, but I didn't edit anything either. Like I think you could remove that whole subplot from the season, and I don't feel like the season would be like remarkably different.
Because like, yeah, a mystery is fun, whatever, but you kind of already know all the pieces if you could kind of put it all together if you needed to. So just like, all right. I agree. I think it was, again, what's fun about this show and also what's really weird about this show is just how like messy it is in all its shapes and forms, because it's like, yeah, there's so many different subplots going on. There's things that don't quite make sense for the show, like this cop segment, and now knowing the murder wasn't even part of the original book. It's just but there's something about the two of them that like, and it's the actors, like you just like, you're like, I kind of want to watch the next episode because they're just kind of fun to watch, and I just want to see what they do next and how people react to them, and I'm having a good time with that. We'll see where that takes in season 2 without spoiling what happens in the end, but I'm curious what their relationship will be, because I think that's the heart of the show and what will make this show succeed if they focus on that, you know?
The other nice thing is that it had a strong cast. Like we talked about, I think Chrissy Metz or something from This Is Us. I just looked up the actress who played Callie, Jamie Ray Newman. She's been in a bunch of stuff that I've seen before in the past. The one who plays Jill was a major character. Katie Lowes was a major character in Scandal. So like all the cast members, even like Dylan. It was Dylan McDermott, or was it?
I don't even know.
I always get him confused with Dermot Mulroney. So I never know. Was it Dylan? I think it was Dylan McDermott. No, it was Dermot Mulroney, who's in The Hunting Wives. But yeah, like the cast is really they all have done a lot of other stuff, and a lot of them have done kind of like soapy, scandally stuff. So you can tell that they like know the tone of the show, and they like are comfortable with it. And I think that's what makes it work so well. But I think, yeah, at the heart, it's the chemistry between Sophie and Margot that like really gets you from episode to episode. Even if you're like, what's this subplot? You're like, okay, never mind. Like, let's just keep going.
And I just like the again, like there's not a lot of queer TV shows. So just to kind of see these queer relationships in this weird setting. No, they're like none. I was just like, oh man, there's just like not that much out. So it was like cool to just see a queer TV show that was happening. Every episode you get to see the storyline too. It's not like here's just random characters showing up. It's like, no, these are the two main characters, which is fun. So Amy, do you feel like now hearing all this that like did you find the pilot to be satisfying, or?
Well, so I feel like a lot of times when we do these pilot pods, I tend to be a little bit more on the, because I have like no free time. I tend to be a little bit more of the, well, if it wasn't great, I'm probably not going to keep watching it. I really want to keep watching this, and I don't really know why.
This is just silly and easy.
It's the Emily in Paris effect.
Why. Yeah. you just let the show take me along. Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I was so excited for it because I had read the book, but also I think I watched the whole thing in like a weekend. Like, and I didn't expect. I've been very bad at binging TV lately, so the fact that I got through like 8 episodes in like 2 or 3 days was crazy. I would watch one episode and I'd be like, okay, just quickly, like the first scene of the next one, and then I'll stop. And then it was like before I knew it, I'd watch the whole next episode.
It's really easy to watch before bed, and for me, it was really easy to watch while I was working, like answering emails or something. It was just like a very easy background show.
I need one of those right now because my current background show is The West Wing.
Yeah, not as much of a background show.
Which it's really not. But I got to tell y'all, just sidestep just for a second here. I think I mentioned this the last time we chatted, or at least I did with Kat. Like, The West Wing was written over 20 years ago, and it is still shockingly relevant. Like,
so
I've
actually never seen The West Wing.
Morgan, you would love
and I feel like I'm never going to be able to, because I think it's just always going to be too depressing, to be honest.
No,
like,
no.
Because the West Wing envisions this universe in which I would like to live, but we will never, I think, at this point. So
maybe, but it's just the writing is so crisp. Like, it's brilliant. I just
Aaron
I love
Sorkin
it.
Walk and talk, baby.
Yeah, no, for real though. It's so good. But this
I would do a pilot pod. That would be fun.
I've also never seen the show. So.
Kat!
I know.
You know the thing about The West Wing, and again, we'll get back to The Hunting Wives in a second here. I just finished a run of Macbeth. And there are multiple Shakespeare references that they drop in every season. There's literally an episode, as I was doing Macbeth, there was an episode that popped up called The Burnham Wood. And this is a real deep Shakespeare thing. And in Macbeth, basically the witches tell Macbeth, you don't have to be worried until Burnham Wood come to Dunsinane, which is where he's at. And he's like, no actual wood. Like, the woods are not going to come here. Trees are not going to be moving. That's never going to happen. So it's in literature becomes the thing that's never going to happen. There's no way that's going to happen. But in the play, in Macbeth, the enemy literally goes and cuts down a bunch of trees from Burnham Wood and moves them so slowly close to the castle that by the time that his watchtowers realize that Burnham Wood is literally coming to him, it's too late. And so the fact that they nerd out about that in the show, I got really nerdy about it. And I went to rehearsal and was like, guys, they were nerding out about the Burnham Wood in the West Wing. And it's really good. You guys need to watch it. We'll do a pilot pod.
Yeah, we will definitely do a pilot pod.
Put that on the list.
Do a pilot pod.
And what else do you guys want to see too? We have actually a couple of plans for the next few weeks, but we're always looking for suggestions.
But yeah, I think that I'll end up watching The Hunting Wives. I'll probably watch it. Like, I already know. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who wants to know, but I'm pretty sure that dead girl at the end is not Sophie. Like, she's definitely that teenager girl. And I can already think of 3, maybe 4 people who want that girl dead, and I'm sure she didn't do anything. Poor girl.
I'll also say that the reveal is not something that's like the end of the show. It's like
I think it's episode 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I looked it up.
Yeah,
because I wanted to know. I'm like, are we going to do this whole show in the span of 3 weeks? I was like, I don't want to watch that. I want to watch a show that goes over the long course of time.
Yeah, which they do pretty well with the pacing for that, and also it's a really interesting pilot pod where all 3 of us. It seemed like it was going to end up watching it, because usually it's always like, like the pilot was good enough, but I don't want to watch more. So that's fun that because again, it's so easy. And I feel like sometimes you want that, like, at least for me, it's a little easier to watch shows like this. It was fun, and not funny, but it was interesting that Amy recommended us to watch Adolescence. And we all had watched it. We probably will do a pilot pod at some point. But also that's like a good example of a show that's so heavy, so extremely heavy. Yeah, so those are a little harder. But that was also a British show that was 3 episodes. So that was a lot easier to get through because it was shorter. But there's shows that are like, I was trying to get through, and again, if you guys love this show, kudos. I was trying to get through that new Alien show. I couldn't. And I like Aliens. I couldn't get through it. And again, I'm a huge sci-fi fan, but I like Aliens. And it was like the first 10 minutes I couldn't get through. And I told Phil, like, when you eventually watch it, let me know if I was just being harsh and I was like tired. He's like, no, I watched the whole first episode and I didn't love it either. And it just seems like, it's sad that that's a slog, but people are loving it. I'm sure as you get into more episodes, it's probably my God, it's on Hulu. I want to say.
I think it's on FX, so probably on Hulu.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people are going to kill me for this one, but we have been trying to get to Andor because everybody loves it. But the first episode or two, I'm going to be honest, guys, like not a lot is happening in those first episodes or two. And like, we're just like, oh, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. But like the first couple, the first episode it's not that good. It's not great. It's very slow.
I'm halfway through the first episode and I literally started watching it and I was like, I'm going to love this. I am going to love this. And I knew I was going to love it. And it has a lot to do with the fact that I really love their main actress, Adira Ajorna. I think I said that right.
I've kind of forgotten. Yeah, I mean it's been a while since
she's from Emerald City.
Oh, okay. Oh, of course.
Yeah, if you guys know. But she, anyway, I knew I was gonna like it, and so I was like, it was right as I was moving. And so I was like, I need to wait until I'm in a good spot. And then my Disney Plus expired, and now I have not watched it. So I need to watch Andor.
Yeah, I mean, but it's one of those things where it's like, when I get into Andor, do I think I'm going to think it's a superior show to The Hunting Wives? Yes, I do think that. But is it easier to watch than The Hunting Wives? No. No, it is not.
No, it's so true because after a long day, sometimes you just want to like veg out. And that doesn't mean that you don't want to watch a good show. Like I would love, I like to watch a good show. I like to watch a good movie. But after specifically a long day, I like to watch something really easy, like a comedy or like me and Morgan. We love our Top Chef. I'm still binging my Top Chef because there's 23 seasons. So there's a lot of Top Chef I can watch. Is always there. And I just skip around different seasons and I enjoy it. And then once I skip around seasons, Hell's Kitchen come back. So I'm like, I want to watch my Hell's Kitchen. So
I can't judge because we were having like a brain death summer, I guess. And we watched 9 seasons of Are You the One, MTV dating reality show.
That's crazy.
So I can't judge anyone's viewing habits. None at all.
I think that's crazy because you're watching an MTV version of that show. Because like a lot of people watch like TLC and be like, all right. And then you went to MTV. So
I went straight to the source. Listen, I will defend the show that it is dating and there's like a gameplay aspect of it. Okay. So it like really hooks you in. You're like, did they find their perfect match?
I like that. I like that there's some gameplay.
I think that you would like it a lot.
I heard Traitors season 3 is coming, like on season 4, whatever they're up to.
I'm so excited. We should do a pilot pod. Yeah, we should cover when Traitors first episode comes out.
And we don't even need to do pilot pod because we could just jump into that season. So
straight in.
A show that's and Kristen Kish is in it from Top Chef.
That's right. Oh my God, I forgot about that. I'm so excited about that. The cast for this season of Traitors looks legitimately insane. It's like Kristen Kish and like Travis Kelce's mom. Like
and Colton Underwood, I want to say, like from Bachelor.
Nothing makes
He's
sense.
like, I'm gonna be gone that day.
It's perfect.
But it's a murder mystery though, Amy. It's like it's a show about
I have recently started to get a lot more into murder mystery stuff, but it's like true crime on my phone. Like news articles have started the BBC app has started recognizing that every time some sort of like true crime thing comes up, I click it. And so they start giving me notifications for that. They're like, this horrible thing has happened in this town. And I'm
pretty
like,
soon, Amy, you and I are going to be able to talk about murders. It's right around the corner.
Please send me I need some podcast ideas because I think I need to start listening to more podcasts. in general.
I like that. I just listened to like basketball podcasts, and I think food.
I don't listen to any
podcasts.
I truly don't.
That's crazy. I'm just going to drop podcast recommendations on this
music
podcast. The one I love is it's called Normal Gossip. We're so far afield, but I mean,
we are. We'll go back.
It kind of ties to the Hunting Wives because it's it's basically like low stakes gossip that people send in from their lives. So it could be like, you know, like kind of stuff that happens to me, like drama at the HOA board, and that kind of stuff. And they tell it like they tell this like the long story, and then they'll have a guest and they'll tell a little bit of the story, and they'll be like, what do you think this person should do? And like ask them that questions, and then they'll go into the story. It's really very fun. So that's always a very fun, like lighter. It's kind of like, you know, the Hunting Wives of podcasts. Like you're always gonna have a fun time.
And again, that goes full circle for us. Like that's the easier type of content to watch. I see how excited we got for our easy listens.
Yes, and we all got very excited.
I think a good example of that is like that's in the middle for me. That's a little easier to watch. Is something like Harley Quinn that we've talked about on the show. Yeah. I'm really excited to binge watch Peacemaker season 2 because that felt like first season is a really good example of having a lot of fun and like being light and then also being very, very serious. And I'm like, that's a nice balance for me because I'm just like, it's not serious all the time, but then you have like some of the funness. So I'm very excited to. I want to binge it because I'm like don't want to watch episode by episode. So I've been waiting to collect them.
We started. I think we watched the first episode and then we fell behind, and now I'm like, do I just wait? Because it's like I think the season is like
almost over,
6 or 7 or 8 episodes or something, and like at this point, I feel like I could wait a couple weeks and just binge the whole thing. But yeah, like the later things, like the Hunting Wives is like one of those ones where, you know, I don't know if this would have worked as a great as a week to week drop. Like I do feel like the fact that it is so light, that it's so like soapy, that it's so dramatic and over the top makes it easy to binge, unlike some of these other shows that we're talking about, you know, like the Andors, like the things that are heavier, where like maybe those you do actually kind of want to watch week to week and like think about the episode. Like I don't know that I would want to, you know, I'm sure I would if I had started it late, but like binging like a Severance or something, you know, it was nice to have those week to week, but like, I don't know that I would have spent like a lot of time, like between episodes of the Hunting Wives, wondering what was going to happen next. I was just like, okay, put it on. Let's go.
I know what's happening.
I think the queer relationship helps where I'd be like, oh, I want to see what happens to them. I will also say it's so funny because we're talking about, I love how much lightness the Hunting Wives is. I'll say this might be a show that needs to be a little bit more serious for the very reasons that you said, like the week to week aspect. It's like, maybe there should be some sort of story, you know. I feel
like stuff that they tried to add into this, like the subplot, the like detective subplot that we were talking about, where I felt like that they were trying to add like a level of mystery that doesn't exactly exist in the book. Like in the book, it's like somebody killed this person, which let's be honest, we all know who it was that they killed. And it's like, who did it? But like, it's pretty obvious if there's only like a set amount of characters it could be.
Who could have done it?
They added like the girl who got kidnapped and the police subplot into this season to try to like make it seem like there was more going on than there actually was in the story. So I got why they added that stuff in, but like as you're watching it, it does feel like suddenly you're dropped into a different TV show for like 5 minutes, and then you're back to like Margot and Sophie being like, "Oh my God, you're so cute." How about no, you're so cute.
Well, have you guys seen the show Revenge?
Yes,
and I love
revenge vibes.
I love Revenge, but I think Revenge is an example of a show that did it better because it has the soap, but the character, that dynamic between
was pretty intense.
Yeah, it was her.
Now,
I know. What is her name?
I don't.
I don't remember. The two, Emily Van Camp and the other person, like the dynamic between them, you always were questioning: was Emily Van Camp a good person? Was she not? But you genuinely questioned that. It's like, did revenge take her over? And that's where I feel like this show did a better job.
But you know what's missing?
It's soapy. What?
The thing that's missing, the thing that separates those two is the streaming versus episodic format. revenge had to get people coming back every week. They had to have that. They had 20 some odd episodes every season.
It was a lot. And it was like 6 seasons.
Yeah. And so like it's like higher stakes because they knew they had to sell it every time. It's like a couture dress. You're only going to wear it once, so it has to hit every single time.
Yeah, I do feel like it's one of the differences between streaming era shows and the old network style shows, which is that
by like 10 years ago, mind you.
I know it's terrible though, but like I feel like I've been watching old Buffy lately with Mike because he's never seen it before, and it's been so exciting. But it's one of those things where it's like I could watch like 5 Buffys in a row and be like, that was great. But I'll watch like 1 hour long, like hour and 10 episode of one of these streaming shows. And I'll be like, that's it for the night. Like I'm done. Because like a lot of these streaming shows just don't move. Like the old shows used to be, there was a specific like act structure, right? Like a 4-act structure that you had to hit. You had to hit like a point for the commercial break so that people would come back, right? And it made the writing move a lot faster and keep you like engaged. Whereas a lot of these streaming shows, it'll be like, no, like we're setting up the action for 5 episodes, and you're like,
or movie like
really?
Why do you do or movie like? Yeah, it's like instead of watching a 2-hour movie, I'm watching an 8-hour movie that's like incredibly slow. So yeah, at least the Hunting Wives, I feel like, even though it's not quite like a Revenge or something like that, or even like a Desperate Housewives back in the day.
Moves.
It moves, yeah, and that is like a reason why I think it's so easy to like binge and like watch the next one.
Now,
and that is the irony of streaming though too, because you're just saying like, oh, it lulls. It's so interesting because streaming is supposed to be like, oh, I want that next episode. But I agree, like a Buffy, and I was just watching The Company Man for Heroes because it had been a while since I seen it. And we were just like, we really want to watch this episode. I was like, wow, this is like a perfect episode of television, the way it's paced and the reveals, and like it's a good like kind of bottle episode. And I'm just like, yeah, they don't make them like they used to.
I know. I feel like Old Man Yells at Cloud, but I do feel like there's something to be said about the constraints of the format making the format better. Whereas like these streaming shows, they can be like, oh, this episode's going to be 50 minutes, and this episode is going to be 47, and like we don't have to write to a commercial break because there are no commercial breaks, and we can take our time with the narrative. And instead, what ends up happening is that it just all feels like a little bit loose. It feels a little bit slow. But then you watch these network shows from 10, 15 years ago, and you're like, I want to watch 10 of these in a row because they all move.
Yeah. Like the Aaron Sorkin West Wing. Like it's
like the West Wing.
To it.
Yeah.
Or Star Trek. I'm rewatching Star Trek The Next Generation, and I was actually talking with one of my coworkers who's watching it for the first time ever today. And he was like, oh, I just finished season 3 and I'm heading into season 4 and I can't believe that they had to wait a whole summer for this. And I'm like, that was when back then, like you only had TV Guide magazine. There was no internet. There's no like scoping to see, oh, is this character coming back? Like maybe he's literally dead. Maybe the actor's done. So
they didn't even do as many trailers either. Like they have Comic-Con now that reveals a trailer, stuff like that.
You had to wait 3.5 months.
Also, seasons of TV used to come out consistently every September. And I think that's another thing that has killed a lot of momentum on some of these streaming shows is that, The Hunting Wives apparently has been renewed for season 2. I think that's really fun because they already got through all of the story in the book. So what are they doing next? I don't know. And honestly, based on the stuff that they like added into this season, I can't wait to see what they do in season 2. I think it's going to be insane, and I'm excited. But like, yeah, exactly. When's season 2 going to be? I don't think it'll be this time next year. I don't.
Yeah, we don't know. Like Stranger Things. That's like it's been 2-3 years since that last season.
Ellie Bobby Brown is a full mother now, and she's still playing a 13-year-old. Like it's crazy.
So the last.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say before we wrap up with our Hunting Wives, I did want to talk a little bit about the queer relationship, which is the relationship between Margot and Sophie. Like, how did we feel like that relationship was? Did we like the chemistry?
I love the chemistry.
This is just the pilot.
That's true. Yes, this is just the pilot.
I'll say I love their chemistry.
Margot flashed her in the pilot.
Yeah, that's true. I'll say that I really love the chemistry, and I'll still stand by what I earlier said. By the one scene we talked about, I don't think it actually explores queer relationships, or the identity politics, I guess. But also, there's kind of like a funness to that too. Again, weird to say because it's still conservative. The South, what your setting is, but it's kind of also nice where it's not like, oh, it's just a relationship. It's just a relationship between two people. It's not really a commentary about like, oh, what does that mean or whatever. It's kind of just fun to see them have a relationship, I guess.
Years and years ago when we did our roundtable, that was one of the things that we talked about, is that we wanted to start seeing more media where it was not that identity of what the relationship was not the core focus of the story. In this case, it just happens to be the sexuality that these two individuals have. I will say this is a weird show to do that in, but I think that's the one thing that takes me aback a little bit. But I mean, yeah, I think they have very good chemistry, and I'll just watch for that. No, I think that they did a very good job making it very clear right off the bat that this is that sort of a sexual relationship. Like very quickly, I stepped in having no idea, no frame of reference on what this was. I had a feeling, I'm like, I mean, maybe it's gay because that's why they would tell me to watch this. Maybe that's what this is, but I had no frame of reference. But very quickly I was like, oh, this gay. And in a good way. And I was like, okay, I like this.
I like that you didn't have the frame of reference.
I didn't have any frame of reference.
I only watched it knowing it was gay. I was like, I guess
you came in and you were like, oh, are they doing body shots? This is pretty gay. Yeah, they have a lot of chemistry in the pilot. I think you can tell right away that this is going to be like the main relationship in the show is between Sophie and Margot, and that Margot is this kind of like crazy seductress character who sees that Sophie is kind of interested in her and is like, okay then. But I really liked that relationship, and I do think it's like the reason you want to go to the next episode and see what these two crazy people are going to get up to.
Not the mystery.
No, the mystery is paper thin for sure, but like the mystery of like what insanity these two are going to do is really what like drives you from episode to episode.
Yeah. It's very airport, read it on the plane book.
Watch it on the plane,
and I love that. Yeah. I'm okay with this. I'm really. I think I needed this.
I could imagine watching this on a plane. I'd have to like cover the screen.
Morgan, we have read smut on a plane. We know the people behind us are looking at our Kindle.
Reading smut is different than
you don't read smut on a plane?
No.
Really, honestly, not unless it like just happens to get to like a sex scene while I'm on the plane. But like if you're watching a movie sometimes and you're like there's like some scene, and then that's always when like the person comes up and asks you if you want a drink, and you're like, no.
I think they're so used to it by now. They're like,
it's in the movie. Yeah, I know.
It is true. I remember a couple of years ago, I was traveling home on a plane. This was several years ago, and a Game of Thrones episode was playing live. And every single screen was Game of Thrones, and I couldn't help it. You don't want to watch it, but you're watching it. You're kind of like open mouthed watching it.
Oh.
And I just turned up like, oh, look at all those naked bodies. Oh, look at all that blood. And everybody just kind of accepted that everybody else was doing it. And we're all like, yeah, okay, we're watching naked bodies and blood. Let's go.
I mean, it's definitely a popular show. But this is I love a good show that makes the plane ride feel quick. So this is definitely one I feel like that would make the plane ride feel very quick. Last question for Morgan before we go into our overall thoughts, unless there's another topic. But do you feel like the book was better than the show, or do you think the show is better than the book?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I feel like they're both kind of equally, like, I feel like the show did really well with the tone of the book. I was looking online today to see like what the differences were that I like forgot between the show and the book. And I saw some people on like, I think it was like Reddit that were like, oh, I read the book and I didn't really like it, like compared to the TV show. So I'm not saying that like if you watch the show, you'll love the book because it is a little
Apparently
bit
not.
less gay than the show. The show is much gayer than the book, but there were also people who were like, the book wasn't gay at all. And I was like, I honestly don't know what book that you read because she is like legit obsessed with Margot. She's like, what's Margot doing now? Like she's like looking at pictures of Margot on social media. I was like, that's pretty gay. But
how does the book end?
So the book ending is different than the show ending. So the show ending, no spoiler alert, but it ends on a cliffhanger. The book does not end on a cliffhanger. Obviously, that book has like a full ending. Different characters die in the book than die on the show. And so I don't know if this is a spoiler. Well, whatever. Spoiler alert for the book. Turn away. In the book, Margot doesn't make it.
Oh, so, crazy! I don't need to do that for the show. Unless it ends the show.
She is the bread and butter of that show. You cannot get rid of Malin Ackerman. Nope. So I was like, when they did not do that in the show, no spoiler. I think if you've watched the first episode, you know they're not going to do that to her. I was like not surprised. I was like, oh yeah, no, we can't kill off Malin Ackerman. But I think maybe in some ways I enjoyed the show a little bit more. I think it was like, embraced all the campy elements of the book and then just kind of amplified them in a way that was really fun. And I like them amping up the queer relationship and being like really explicit about that relationship and that like, I hesitate to call it a love story. I don't think that's what that was. But the relationship between these two characters and like really amping up the queerness of that relationship, I think that was like the right way to go with it.
All right. Well, I think we're going around the block. So everyone start.
So final thoughts on The Hunting Wives, Amy.
Oh, I thought we were wrapping up in general. Hunting Wives. Keep watching it. Yeah.
Nice. I think this is going to be one of the ones that we all have eventually watched the whole thing of, which will be fun.
Yeah, it's a fun show. I'll be watching season 2 because I've already seen the show.
Can't wait. All right, Amy, where can people find you on the internet?
You guys can find me on Instagram, Amy_HYP, where if you're really brave and you reach out to me and let me know that you're coming to see one of my theater productions, I will come out and say hi to you afterwards. So many of you know I just finished a summer of Richard III and Macbeth went so well. It was just a great experience overall, really, really wonderful performances. But a fan of the podcast named Ellie came and visited the show, drove well over an hour south to come see Macbeth. Now, they'd come and seen Much Ado About Nothing last year, didn't get a chance to come say hi afterwards, but messaged me on Instagram, and we kind of connected that way. Surprised me the day of the show saying, hey, I'm going to come see it. And I was like, oh my God. So I came out, met them afterwards. It was so fun. So super huge shout out to Ellie, who has been listening to our podcast for a very long time. They were telling me that like during COVID especially, they were doing a lot of driving and we were just always on playing. That. And like we were their binge show. And Ellie was like, you guys literally, Ellie was like, look, I realize this is a parasocial relationship, but you guys feel like friends to me.
Oh,
like,
I love that.
You guys feel like friends to me. And so to see
you
doing the theater was so cool. And what was so funny, and I will never forget this, is that Ellie was like, the thing that always sticks out to me is one point I was driving over this really big hill, like a grade or something. And I remember Amy just dropping this fact that giraffes have 7 vertebrae and the vertebrae are size of cinder blocks. And I was like, I love that is the thing that has stuck in your brain.
Amazing.
I was like, that's so spot on.
You come for the pop culture, but you stay for the giraffe facts. That's the thing.
So good. So huge shout out to Ellie. Somewhere in the Instasphere is a picture of the two of us, which you have to send me. So thank you so much for coming. Like that was really cool. Like I have fans. It was really cool. And a couple other people from San Diego drove all the way up to Temecula to see me who I'm not friends with outside of just fans who come and see me perform. Like,
that's cool.
I just felt
That's so
it was a very gratifying experience.
You have an audience now, Amy.
A Shakespearean
A
audience.
Shakespeare audience of all things.
That's
People
very
who
cool.
have seen me. One of the guys has seen me do the same role twice.
Wow.
Which is probably a cool experience. For
That
them
is
to
cool.
do.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And very gratifying as an actress to be told, like, you gave two completely different performances and I loved them both for different reasons. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
To be like, hey, I can make this character completely different, give a completely different performance, and yet it's still as entertaining as the first time I did it. Like, really cool and very, very gratifying to hear. So, yeah, anyway, so that's my summer. It's done now. Thank God. I need a break. I haven't
can
had
relax a
weeknights
little.
off in a very long time. I have Saturday off. I don't know what to do with myself.
Watch
So much
Wives.
food.
You can watch so much Hunting Wives now.
Yeah, I can also eat pizza. I was really watching what I ate over the course of the show because I had to wear like a very slimming dress. And so now I'm going to eat some pizza.
Now it's pizza time and Hunting Wives.
Honestly, great evening.
Amazing. Kat, where can people find you? And is there perhaps anything you want to plug?
Yeah, so at Comic Know's best place for me this month we have the comic book
This month,
shop.
she says.
I know, and usually we have two, but we only have the one this month. But the comic shop is a web show that was funded on Kickstarter, which is a comedy, and we're actually doing the tie-in comic book for it. So go check that out. So if you've heard of the show, if you haven't heard of the show, go check it out. It's on YouTube. And we are doing the tie-in. So the story buys are from some of the actors and some of the writers. And then we have premier comic book writers and artists bringing these stories to life. So very excited about it. That is, for me, launching Monday. But once this episode's up, we'll already be live. So go check it out. It's on Kickstarter. And then again, at Comic Know for the rest of my stuff.
So exciting. Yeah, you can find me as a co-host on Supergirl Radio, where we just had our 500th episode somehow, which is
Holy
terrifying.
smokes.
A lot of
Which is
episodes.
terrifying.
Holy smokes.
So many episodes. So if you haven't listened to any of Supergirl Radio, I feel like
You
now
have a lot
is
of
the time
catching up to do.
start. It will take you maybe 2 years about almost if you listen to one a day. That's a lot of episodes. And then
Wow.
also we have been talking about the new Supergirl comic book that's been coming out by
Solid.
Sophie Campbell, which has been really fun. So I think that's what we're doing recently. I can't, I was trying to remember when this is coming out, but anyway, just check us out on Supergirl Radio.
I'm
and then,
so impressed that you guys continue
crazy.
to turn out Supergirl material.
Well, what's nuts is that Rebecca, every time we hit like 100 episodes, she does like a clip show of like the previous 100 episodes, and I'm like, God bless.
Queen.
No, you would not. I could not do it. Like, I could not do a clip show because I wouldn't even remember what we talked about. In fact, I have to sometimes listen to the clip shows to remember what we talked about like 100 episodes ago. So it's been a lot of episodes. Speaking about this podcast right now that we're doing, you should make sure that you follow us on Instagram at The Legendary Ladies, on Twitter at Legends_podcast. You can email us at thelegendaryladies@gmail.com with anything you want us to cover, things you want to say. If you're a big fan of the Hunting Wives, whatever. What reality television show are you watching? We'll probably watch it. And you should definitely be following us on YouTube, where we post these videos, where you can see that Amy is in a disco dance party in a rave right now for some reason.
Accidentally found the reactions thing on my Mac actually lets you click them and choose the reactions. You guys, look, it can rain.
It's raining. There were balloons. If you're
What is
watching
this?
the video, you can see fireworks, all kinds of stuff. For our audio only listeners, you're missing out if you're not following us on YouTube, The Legendary Ladies at YouTube. Oh, that's the hearts for all of our listeners. Thank you guys for hanging with us during this hiatus. And now that we're back, we're really excited to talk to you guys again. So definitely send back feedback and let us know what you want us to talk about and cover. And then I think until next time, stay legendary.